Hey, do you think you need a new content strategy now that AI is here? Well, I'm going to explore that right now. So join me right now and let's watch. All right. So you might be wondering about your content strategy now that AI is here. You might be thinking, well, geez, I actually had a client say that to me is that, gosh, I feel like AI is going to make me obsolete because I put in a prompt to have it write a blog post that was similar to one, that was the same topic that I wrote on in a blog post. And she said 90%, 90% of what was in that blog post that AI created was her content. And my response was, yes, but it's that 10% that's going to make the difference. Okay. And so let's explore that. Let's think about that, right? So, the way I see it is you have remember last week, if you were here at last week's live, we talked about how AI is like creating a new baseline, right? Of sort of like the common stuff that we know to be true. And so if you think about that, like math or like with science, once we have a breakthrough in in your content, I'm sorry, once we have a breakthrough in science, right, then we can use that breakthrough as fact, and then we can build upon that, right? So we take it to the next level. And so when open source code came out, that was really what the idea was, is that, gosh, we could do so much more. We could actually build so much more um, so many more features and have such better software if we just shared our basic code. And so that's what AI did, is that they're taking all this code of like, okay, these are the things that, we everybody writes about, right? Like if I write about procrastination, everybody writes, a lot of people in my niche, of course, write about procrastination. And so they all say basically the same things. And so that's what AI comes up with. But it's that 10% that maybe is your secret sauce, like the one thing that works for you that's not generally known to people. That's what's going to bring you up to that next level, right? And so think about that when you're writing your blog post. AI is a good way for you um, to kind of see what is out there and what people are already finding out on that Google search, and then you take it that one step further. Now, you probably already did that with research and different things that you do on your own, and I highly recommend that you always do your own research, because the AI, from what I understand, the AI content is about 2 years old. And so you want to make sure that you're always doing your research anyway, and don't necessarily use AI as a research tool. But as a writing tool, if it were going to write a blog post for you, you're going to want to be able to add to that the next level, the next thing, right? And you may want to hint about it, or show some things about it, but then leave the rest for your lead magnet, right? Beyond the Google search. That's what I like to call it. This is the stuff you can get beyond the Google search. It's not in a regular Google search. And that's the way I like to think about AI. So I feel like, yes, maybe it might make you obsolete if you don't put a lot of effort into your work, and you don't have anything secret. You're just like basically regurgitating what you learn on the internet, right? And that's fine, and it might have been fine in um, real world applications before AI came about. But now it's going to push us to be a little bit more innovative, right? To be a little bit more, have a little bit better quality, and go that one step further, that one little bit further. So I like to think about it this way. When you do your freebies, things like that, that should be all you. That should be your writing. It should be your stuff. You probably shouldn't generate that with AI. It should be your own secret sauce, your things. But when you want to, say, write supporting social media posts and supporting articles and things like that, AI can really help fill in the gaps where you might not have had time to do it, right? You might have blown off the blog post because you just didn't have time. So why not use AI to fill in the gaps? Because you can create blog posts that are basically wrapped around the exact keyword that you want to be found for on a Google search. And so, and yes, they will be able to find that same information if they put in that same exact keyword search. They'll be able to find basically the same information if they used AI to write them a brief or an article or something like that about those particular things. But that's where you come in to, okay, now it gave you that leg up. It wrote the blog post for you, but what is it that, how can you make it your own? How can you add to it, or maybe remove something, maybe something in there that you don't necessarily agree with. And so you pull that out. You don't just blindly put things out there that AI produces for you. You've got to always vet it. It's got to have that human eye always. And so AI helps you go do more rapid things. Like there's a software called Missing Letter that I really kind of like. It's I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of cool. Like you can write a blog post and then it'll crawl that blog post and it'll pull quotes out of that blog post for you, and then it'll generate like a campaign, like a 12-month campaign where it actually produces posts for you once a month to actually promote that blog post, which is super cool. And it's kind of done with AI. I mean, it's actually reading your blog post and pulling that in, but I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to do with AI if they integrate AI into that. But you can see how all these things are made to improve your productivity, right? Improve your productivity. And that's why you're in this group in the first place, is to make you more productive. And we do that in this world of online business. We do that by creating efficiencies for ourselves. So my last week's live was all about, like, don't poo-poo this AI thing. I mean, if you've ever thought, like, if you ever had those thoughts in your head, like, oh no, I'm not going to use AI. That's just, no, it's, it's like cheating. Well, I have to admit, it does feel sort of like cheating. It does feel like cheating, but you know what? It's a good cheating. It's a good thing that you can have this help you to actually generate content. And then earlier in the week, or last week, I also posted an article that I read about what they expect Google to, how they expect Google to respond and utilize and leverage content that's been made from AI as opposed to written by a human. And apparently they can tell. So you might want to read that article. If you didn't find it in the group, then let me know and I will tag you on it, because I think it'll help you to understand how that can how that how it's going to be dealt with in the Google search world, because that is the biggest concern to me, is that people are going to rely on it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Ask AI. Ask AI is right on your phone. You can ask it anything. And so I had my husband's not much into those kinds of things, putting apps on his phones and every phone and stuff, but I showed him how to use Ask AI, and he's already used it to search different things that he's interested. He's really interested in space. He's interested in history, and so he's able to, ask it some things and get some information. Of course, remember that it's not necessarily current and up to date, and that's where you come in on that Google search, is that you're going to bring that new idea, that new innovative approach, that new thing to your blog post, to your social media, to your videos, to everything that you do. And AI can actually give you that boost so that you're not just writing about the same old things that everybody's written for the last 10 years or however long the internet's been around, right? You actually are being pushed now to be more innovative, just like our scientists and mathematicians and all these people, right? So you think about a mathematician, they think about when you were in geometry and you had to do these proofs, right? You had to prove that something was actually the way it was. You proved that a triangle was a right triangle by its certain features, and that those features were dependent on postulates and theorems and things like that that you assumed to be true. They were already the basic information that we knew about our universe, right? And what was true about our universe. And then you prove those things. And then once you prove a right triangle is a right triangle, you no longer have to keep proving that over and over again. Now you can take it to the next level. Now you can do the next thing. And that's a very simplistic example, but you get the idea, is that we're being stretched to that next level, and it's up to you to be the innovator. And that's kind of exciting, isn't it? It's kind of exciting, because I think that if you're an innovator type of person, if you've ever done any of those personality things and you're like the innovator, right? And raise your hand, give me a 1 in the comments if you have ever done one of those and you've come up to be the innovator, because that that is like a huge, nice opening for you compared to all those other people that just want to like produce tons of content and stay behind the scenes and not really put themselves out there, not really try that hard. They just want to produce and have AI do everything for them. This is going to set you apart from them, so that you can capture that audience that's really looking for the innovators, who's really looking for something different. I mean, most people are pretty adept at doing a Google search nowadays, right? And so you want to be that person that takes them beyond that basic Google search of what everybody's talking about. Everybody already said it before. I mean, if you look at procrastination, for an example, they basically say the same things, right? And when I did the research, that I got all these basics of, okay, so to stop procrastinating, you should set a schedule, or you should set deadlines, or you should take breaks. You should do all these things. And while all that may be true, I don't really feel like that always works for people. Setting deadlines doesn't always work for people. And creating a schedule doesn't always work for people. There's other things that are going on that are probably affecting you and making you procrastinate. And so that's the step that I go into when you download my workbook about procrastination. You can grab that at the scrumshop.com/procrastination if you want to take a look. But you can see how, if you ran an article, if you asked AI to run an article on how to stop procrastinating, it'd be similar, but mine has a little bit more in it of the things that you want to be looking at, and signs of what procrastination is doing to you, and signs of how to get out of it, right? Is like getting to the root cause of that procrastination. There's always a root cause, because in my opinion, procrastination is a symptom. It's not actually a cause of anything, right? It's a symptom. And so you can see how you can keep doing that stuff, and then pushing yourself to the next level on basically what AI is already, okay, this is what we generally know. And so what's your special sauce? What are your secrets? So that is what I suggest as your new content strategy: is think outside the box, stretch yourself, put yourself out there. Who cares if it's not the general opinion, right? That's kind of what AI is the general opinion of what everybody thinks. But you get to put something new and fresh and innovative for your people. And then that will help you stand out from the crowd. And then you can keep anything that you want to keep beyond that Google search inside of your lead magnet, so that people have to opt in order to get that good, juicy stuff that you have been working on, and that you've worked hard to develop and do. You haven't just been the run-of-the-mill basic blog posts that everybody's doing. You're actually innovating, and you're actually giving value, a lot of value, and a lot more value than somebody who's just going to rely on AI to write an article. I'm not saying, though, to not use AI. I absolutely am a fan of AI. I use it almost daily, and I use it for all kinds of things. You wouldn't even believe it's like an assistant for me. Really, it acts as an assistant for me. It helps me write things in a more engaging way, so I learn how to write better. And just using these tools, I think I've learned to be a better writer and write in a more engaging way. At least I hope I am. I've always been a technical writer and not a creative writer, so I've always struggled with that. Is bridging that over to write something that's supposed to be entertaining. I'm better at writing informative stuff. So think about that. Is that there's a lot of ways that you can use AI, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to let it write for you every single thing. And even if you do, you want to make sure you put your human touch on it so that you can. Um, in fact, what I would recommend is when you copy and paste from AI, copy it into a notepad, just plain old notepad. It takes all the formatting out of there, and then go through the thing and just really make it your own as best as you possibly can, and then add your secret sauce to it, and then put it into your blog or whatever, because that way you can help. Keep that. I don't know if there's any formatting behind the scenes on these things, for Google search to find, the crawlers to find. But if there is, you can get all the formatting out of that by pasting it into Notepad, and then just make it your own. Make it your own. Like if it uses a term or a word that you never use, don't do it. Don't do it. If it's saying something you don't agree with, don't just put it out there just for the sake of putting something out there. And if it's not including everything that you would include, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity to really stand out and be something special. Okay, all right, you guys, I hope that helps. And make sure you're leveraging AI. I highly, highly recommend it because it's not going away. And there's so many uses for it that's going to really change the way the world does the internet in a lot of ways. And so by using it and staying on top of the different innovations and different things that are going on with AI, it's going to help you in the long run, because the learning curve will be high if you wait a year, because so much is going to happen right between now and a year from now when it comes to AI. And you don't want to be like just now realizing, well, shoot, I guess AI is not going away, so I'm going to start using it. And now you're starting from the scratch. You're the beginner now, when you could have already had a year in of learning how to use this thing, and have that advantage over somebody who's starting to use it, a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. A long time ago, I had a blog, and one of the I started a blog. I've been kind of a serial entrepreneur for a long time, but I started this blog, and one of the things that I read about blogging and everything is you almost really just have to outlast your competition, right? So there's all these people that come up that are starting businesses, say right now, right? Today they started a business. It's a lot. I mean, the numbers are staggering, really, how many businesses go up, but then how many of them actually fail within the first year, within 3 years, within 5 years. And so if you can outlast those people who are competing against you, then you kind of win the game, right? You outlasted them. And so that's the idea, is you're trying to build a business that's here to stay, that's not just going to be some fly-by-night business. It's going to be here to stay. It's going to bring you stable income, and even if it's just a little bit of income at first, you want it to be stable, right? You want it to be consistent, stable income. And so that's the idea, is that you want to create something that's going to last and be a forever kind of thing, because you're really building a career for yourself by building your own business. It's not just a hobby, right? You're building a career for yourself. And if you embrace it that way, I think that it will help you a lot in terms of your commitment level to it, right? Because, you see so much on social media, people living the laptop lifestyle, and they're out, doing all these other things, and they're off, going to a wedding, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they never show themselves working. When in reality, they might go on vacation and go to a wedding, a destination wedding or something, but before the wedding, they're working. And then after the wedding, they're back to their desk working, and all around it, they're working. And so they love to say those things. And yes, it might give them location freedom, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And depending on how much work you're doing yourself, is how much time you're going to spend. And that's why I've been really working on this. Like my program now, I've really shifted my program to include a content creation strategy that leverages AI, um, so that you can be as efficient as possible, creating sort of an exploded, um, you know, campaign of social media and videos and blog posts and everything that you need in order to sort of have that you're everywhere feel, right? And we leverage AI to do that because as a solopreneur, using AI, you might be able to do pretty much your whole business yourself. So if you're not really interested in having a VA, if you're not interested in hiring a team and having a bunch of coaches and everything, you want to just kind of keep your thing manageable for one person, then AI is your best friend because this AI is really going to be so robust, it will be able to eventually be like a true assistant for you, I think. And especially like I'm looking at like Google Assistant, like once that has better AI and it can do more things, like man, you can have it do a whole lot of stuff other than just hey, hey, make a call for me. You'll be able to have it do all kinds of things. So AI is here to stay. Make sure that you're adjusting your strategy based on it. So do your own research. Do your own research always, and then put that secret, really good stuff. Either gated or have it, be in a special place so that you can really stand out and be the innovator in your niche. And if you'd like to learn more about my lead generation content management strategy that is based on efficiency and um, and then eventually creating automations for you, let me know because it is has been really fun and it's been a great way for me to build my audience. My audience has grown by a lot. Like I more than doubled my audience in the last year doing my new program that I do. So let me know if you're interested, and I will get you the information. Okay. All right. I hope that helps you guys, and I will see you in the comments. Be sure to leave any questions that you have for me. Oh, and grab my workbook. It's at thescrumshop.com/AI. Okay. All right, you guys. We'll see you in the comments. Bye.